It is Last Call Sunday here on WagerTalk. Happy football season, everybody. I'm the prop queen, Ariel Epstein, and I'm going to be doing the NFL season pretty much every Sunday for the entire football season. We were on Saturdays before, but we'll give that to Kelly in Vegas. But today's show is going to be locked and loaded with everybody that you need. We've got Yanni the Greek coming on first. Then we've got John Murray from over at the Westgate at Superbook in Las Vegas, taking a look behind the counter, letting you guys know all of the sharp sides, all the needs. We know we all want to be on the same side as Vegas because Vegas has tall buildings and we are all poor compared to them. So we have to make sure we do what John Murray says. And then we've got Teddy Covers and Prez is going to be joining the show because the two of them have a new show coming up and you could watch them during this live show coming up at 1 p.m. Eastern time, sweat out all their bets and be angry or be happy. Hopefully they're happy, I guess. Anyway, it's the NFL season, so we all have to be a little sadistic and we all need a little help wherever we could get it. So you could go to oddslogic.com/propqueen today, and you could use the Odds Logic screen to help you out with whatever you need to look at all the line movement, make sure that you can see where all the public sides are. So it's oddslogic.com/propqueen. And I realized before I bring on Yanni, and I just tweeted this out. So I'm wearing my Ravens sweatshirt because it's my favorite Ravens sweatshirt, and the Ravens play the Bills tonight, obviously. I noticed today that I haven't touched any of my Ravens clothing since the divisional round. I've clearly been that angry all year. So here we are. Happy September 7th. It is the official start of real football season because now everybody's going to play except for, of course, the Bears and the Vikings, but who cares? Sean Michael, we are not talking strikeout props today. It's the NFL, and let's bring on my great friend, Yanni the Greek, live from Las Vegas, taking us to all the sharp action on the board. Yanni, happy football season for the 80th time.
Oh, absolutely. We've already been crushing over in college football. So week one of NFL, got to be cautious, though. These lines have been up for a long time. They've been bet into probably their most efficient right now. So you got to be very cautious. I'm seeing a lot of buybacks already on some of the moves that happened earlier in the summer. So this is a very tricky week. Everyone's excited to fire, but you got to be very cautious and realize that we got a lot of football ahead. You don't have to make all your money and profit for 2025 today. Just pick your spots, get your money in good, learn what you can off week one and on the week two.
Yeah, speaking of buyback, the Giants. I saw that go from Giants +7 down to as much as +5.5. Saw some buyback on the Commanders to get them back to 6.5. What do you see in that game?
It shows you exactly how tight these lines are. In fact, I work right now with 3 different groups that bet NFL into these accounts. And I've seen them bet opposite sides exactly like that, just because of a 1.5 point line move in the NFL. And it just goes to show you how tight a lot of these lines are and just how confident the books are in these numbers. Because again, they know they're going to be able to write bets on the other side. They're not going to get one side. All they have to do is move the line. And that's where you as a bettor can take advantage. As far as this game goes, I'm on the side with the Giants. We took the Giants even at +6. Thought that was the right side against Washington. It's more expecting a regression from Washington this year. You can't actually like pinpoint it in week 1 or week 3 or week 7 or anything like that. But you do expect them to come into the season regressing off of last year. They did get very lucky. If you look at that data, a lot of things fell their way. And more importantly, in this, if you look at the history of these two, they play really tight games. Like regardless of how good or bad each team is that particular season, they're going to show up to play this game. And I think that's why you saw a lot of sharp money come in on the Giants early, but not surprised to see the Washington money. Let's not forget, the teasers are open today. So bettors are teasing these NFL football games. And we saw it on Thursday night with the Eagles, where they were forced to move that line up to protect against the teasers. Now, rest assured, Washington's getting teased down to -0.5, minus, a pick 'em, depending what number of teaser you're using. But I think that's why we're also seeing these lines start to climb a little bit on these favorites around a touchdown, because they have to protect themselves against the teasers, which are really popular right now.
That was my question for you, but now, Yanni, you get to just go with whatever you got. What do you got for us?
Let me go off. All right, real quickly, because I know there's baseball fans out there. Everyone wants football, but real quickly, here's what we got in baseball.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. I told you guys on Friday, before game 1, we bet 5 series. We bet Cincinnati +120, Milwaukee -140, Baltimore +180, Houston plus 110, San Francisco Giants plus 130. Milwaukee and Baltimore already won those series bets for us at plus 180 and minus 140. So it's almost a free roll right now in Cincinnati plus 120, Houston plus 110, San Francisco plus 130. We need those teams to win today to win those series bets. So just throwing that out there, keep your eye on those three. And here's what we bet so far today in Major League Baseball. 909 Washington plus 175, 901 under 8 Milwaukee Pittsburgh, 913 over 8 Cleveland Tampa, 916 Yankees minus the $1.50, 925 Seattle plus the $1.05, 930 Arizona at even money. NFL all over the board. So I'm just going to try to narrow down those that I can confirm one-sided sharp action, not multiple groups on opposite side. Under in the Steelers Jets, first half and full game. Under in the Jets Steelers. Panthers Jaguars, when it dropped down to 45, you got some steam on the over. I know if you look at the odds logic number, it's going to look like it got sharp money on the under. Nothing could be further from the truth. On those credit accounts, they bet the over 45.5 Panthers Jacksonville. I told you about the Giants plus the 6. Raiders. Anytime they could grab a 3 or better, they're taking it on the Raiders. They also bet the under in the Raiders game. Bucks Falcons. We saw early sharp action on the Bucks. Since then, it's been nothing but wise guys taking the Falcons at plus 2.5, and that's why that line's dropped down as well. Saw the same thing with the Niners, Seattle, Lions, Packers. Wise guy money on both sides. Rams on the money line, and then finally in the Ravens and Bills, I'm seeing one-sided action starting to pile up on the Ravens side. It'll be interesting to see if we get any Bills sharp money later. And finally, Bengals Browns over 47.5. And I bring that one up because already looking at the back end, it's a little bit early, but the bettors are already starting to fire and they're betting that one under. I love that. I love when I'm betting an over. Again, I'm not cheering for the recreational bettors to lose. I'm not booking them, but I do like when the negative EV bettors are opposite me. And right now I'm seeing a lot of under money on Bengals Browns. And as I said, I released 4%, I believe, on the over at 47.5 Bengals and the Browns.
Oh, okay. If that didn't answer all your questions, I don't know what does. Yanni the Greek, thank you so much, as always, for coming on Last Call Sunday with us. Appreciate the baseball, the football. I'm looking to just make sure anyone had any questions, but I don't see any yet. I guess one question I'll have before I let you go. Someone here said tease all divisional games and thank me later. What do you think on that?
I don't know about all divisional games because you take it individually and you only tease numbers. This is a great week to tease. The absolute mean error is 10.2 off the spread. Over the season, the final score compared to the point spread in the NFL is like 10 points off. So even though we think it's very efficient, it's still averaged 10 points off the final score. In week one, it's below 10. It's like 9.9. Remember, you want the games to land near the number if you're betting teasers. If you're betting teasers, stick to these rules and you're going to do just fine. Only tease numbers, not teams. So you're looking to tease through the 3 and through the 7. That's going to give you an edge if you're laying less than about minus 125 or better. You'll make money over the course of the season, but you got to focus on locking in those teasers that are going through 3 and 7. Otherwise, you're just not going to hit a high enough percentage to win off of teasers. They juice them up a little bit too high now to where it's very hard to turn a profit if you're laying minus 130s that they're charging on these 6-point teasers. So be cautious with that.
Any teaser legs that you like today?
Yeah, looking real quick. I'll tell you right now, if the games were going off right now, it's pretty easy for me. I'll tell you what I'd be teasing. I'd be teasing Miami. If I could get them up to 7.5, I'd take Miami up to 7.5. I'd take Vegas up to 8.5. What else is there? Oh, I'd take Denver down to 2.5. Detroit up to 7.5. And that's pretty much where we are, unless you can get Buffalo up to 7.5 as well. So again, I'm looking to only go through 3 and 7s. That's the goal. We're teasing those numbers. If you don't get it, then just bet it on straight on the point spread. I promise you, you'll either make more money or lose less money if you do that. Don't go chasing those teasers on teasing down to minus 10, down to minus like 4. It's not helping you long term. I promise you that. It's not going to help you. That's a negative EV bet. And never, ever, ever tease NFL totals. There's just too much variance in scoring. Again, a rule you have to have. Eliminate any totals from your NFL teasers. Stick the teasing through 3 and 7. You're going to do just fine if you're not laying heavy juice.
We love it. Yanni the Greek, thank you so much. Good luck with those
Best
bets
of luck
tonight.
this
We'll
season.
see you next week.
Thanks. Thank you, Ariel.
I know in the chat someone's asking what time's the Bills game. The Bills game is at 8:20 p.m. Eastern time. 8:20 p.m. Ravens Bills. I don't know why that was crazy in the chat. I think we have John Murray next. I'm not sure if he's here, but I hope he is. John Murray, are we here? No? Louis, do we got him? All right. I'm going to see if Louis ends up texting me or something that we have John Murray or not. But I guess I could go through some of my plays. Do we have John? Okay. I guess we could go through some things that stood out to me if we don't have John Murray yet. John Murray's not sleeping. He's working. John Murray is going to be so excited to be here with me. Okay, let me know when he's here or if we go to Teddy. Okay. Who do I like in the San Francisco Seahawks game? I think Seahawks are a decent teaser leg at +2.5. The 49ers scare me with all their injuries. I actually do really like the 49ers overall this year, but week 1 with potential injury to Christian McCaffrey, injuries to the wide receivers, I'm a bit worried about that one. That's not one of my sides for today. I like the Jaguars a lot. Kelly's mad at John now. John, get here. I like the Jaguars a lot today. It's my best bet at -3.5. I know it's now 4.5. I just love that the Jaguars can run the football against Carolina. I don't understand how this number is as short as it is with the Jags at home. They got 2 running backs in Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby that could run the ball against this terrible Carolina defense. The run D gave up the most rushing yards per game last year. And even though the Panthers and Bryce Young has like his 3rd season now underway, I don't trust their young wide receivers. And I think that the Jags can at least the problem with the Jags D is mostly against the run. So I don't know. I think they'll be fine. So defensively, they can run against Carolina. So Jags -4.5, -3.5. Sounds like you're only one on the path today. I guess we could ask John Murray about that. Someone in the chat also talked about Jahmyr Gibbs and the receiving yards. I did do some research on that. So obviously it makes the most sense because let me see my stats on it. Jahmyr Gibbs receiving yards. I literally wrote this down and now I'm trying to find my notes. But obviously the matchup's really good because the Packers did allow they were bottom 5 in receiving yards allowed to running backs last year. The problem I had with Gibbs is, here it is. So 22.5 against teams bottom 10 in passing yards allowed, against teams bottom 10 against pass catching backs. Jahmyr Gibbs went over 22.5 receiving yards in 5 of those 8 games. He went over in 4 of 6 against the division and 3 of 4 against Green Bay since 2023. Green Bay, 3rd most receiving yards per game allowed to running backs. 68% of running backs went over their receiving yards prop against Green Bay last year. So Jahmyr Gibbs over 22.5 receiving yards is definitely a play. You can also underratedly look to Rico Dowdle over his receiving yards at 7.5. Last year, he had 11, 28, and 24 receiving yards against teams that were bottom 10 in the category. And Jacksonville allowed the 2nd most receiving yards per game to running backs. So definitely look there for Rico Dowdle as well. Ricky Purcell receiving yards. So I don't like wide receiver props. I know that sounds really bad, but I don't like wide receiver props because, let's say, for example, a team is bottom 10 against pass catching running backs. Well, you probably only have one running back that comes out of the backfield and is a good pass catching back. So it narrows down your field. Same thing for a team that's good against quarterbacks or bad against, that's bottom 10 in passing yards allowed. If you got there's one quarterback on the team, but when you've got to go to wide receivers, now you've got to tell me that even though a team is terrible, maybe they're terrible against wide receivers and they allow a ton of receiving yards per game, you've got to pick between 4 or 5 receivers. So I'd rather choose quarterback props, running back props, and tight end props. And a tight end that you guys should look at, David Njoku. When Njoku in 2023 was with Joe Flacco, they played 5 games together, and Njoku averaged 78 yards per game with Flacco as his quarterback. And we all know that Joe Flacco loves his tight ends. Cincinnati, third most receiving yards per game to tight ends. 54% of tight ends went over their prop last year, but Cincinnati's bad against tight ends, and Joe Flacco loves his tight ends. And him and Njoku had like 2 100-yard games. So definitely look to David Njoku today as another one. I've got more props. Give them out throughout the show. But Prez is now in the building. Happy football season to our Prez. And I know that you're here because you also are going to have some great new show coming up at 1 o'clock. And we all get to watch you sweat, which is going to be great.
Good to be here. My microphone working? Everything good to go?
Yeah, we hear you.
Excellent. I'm like, this is a new studio. I got my dead shirt on. I'm hosting at 1 p.m. our live in-game betting show, and it's going to be a blast. I'm doing it right from this spot. I've got a bank of TVs. I will show it all later. I've got 2 computers on the corners. And Vivian, my wife, decided to leave me for the day.
Oh, smart of her.
Well, it's 2 reasons, Ariel. One, she doesn't want to hear me talk because I took over the entire living room. And the second reason is, and it's the reason why you guys should log in, I'm impossible to be with on NFL Sunday. I don't know how I'm going to do this show. Like, I usually pace. I throw shit all over the place. I'm going to have like a stack of socks right here so that I don't break.
Well, that's good so you don't break your TV.
Yeah.
I think breaking your TV would be better.
My pen, my notebook, glasses. Okay, we got an NFL Sunday going.
NFL Sunday. So which game is the one that you're going to be the most locked in on tonight?
Well, so the first game for me that I'm going to pay most attention to, that'll be on the big TV set, will likely be Tampa Bay and Atlanta. The Detroit and Green Bay game will be a featured game for the later. And obviously I'm salivating over the Buffalo Baltimore game going tonight. I just can't wait for that game to start. Talk about all the marbles early. It's like college football season.
You got your coffee ready to go too. What is it about the Buffalo and the Baltimore game that you'll be most keyed in on?
Well, I mean, listen, I like Buffalo. I like the over in that game. I like Lamar for rushing yards, Josh Allen for rushing yards. What I think is going to be, what I really like tonight is those 2 rushing props, because we're early in the season and these offenses are not fully clicking yet. It takes 3 or 4 weeks, and I think they're going to be breakdowns, and I think that bodes well for those 2 quarterbacks specifically. I think we see them run more early than later, as you know, later on they're going to have they're just going to be more in sync as a unit. So I like prop bet wise both of those quarterbacks to go over the total in their rushing yards, and I understand that square. I don't look at bets whether they're square or not square. I look at bets whether I think they're going to win or not win.
Well, we've got John Murray waiting in the wings right now. So, Prez, give us your best bets for the day.
How about name a game? I'll throw it at. I'll tell you. Name a game.
I don't know. I'm not going to go through the whole card.
Okay, Miami. I like Miami against Indianapolis. I like Washington against the Giants. I think everyone is looking at this Miami team as if they've completely fallen off a cliff. This is a team that, when healthy 2 years ago, was beating almost every team in the league. This is a team that's stacked on offense, absolutely loaded. Now, I understand it's going to come down to whether Tua can get it done or not. He's been practicing all summer with Waddle. Everything coming out of the changing room is that those 2 have incredible chemistry. Waddle over in receiving yards might be an interesting bet to look at as well. And Danny Dimes in Indianapolis, I see this team as maybe, even including New Orleans, maybe a team that lacks the most depth in all of football. And I don't even like their starters. So I think they're lacking in their front 7. They're lacking in their secondary. They're lacking in wide receiver. Their running back is super old. Their tight end, whatever. And Danny Dimes. I think Miami is the play against Indianapolis, even though there is some smart money coming in on Indy.
Everybody make sure to go check out Prez and Teddy Covers today. They are both going to be on at 1 p.m. Eastern time, live streaming everything. It's called End Zone Live, so make sure to check it out 1 p.m. on Sundays so you could watch them sweat out their bets. Prez, thanks for hopping on with us. We'll see you at 1 p.m. here on WagerTalk.
Awesome, guys. Be good.
Well, the man has awoken. I don't know where he was, but I know that only the best come in a little late. Because that's how it works around here. Only the best, right, John Murray? John Murray from over in Las Vegas at the Superbook at the Westgate. John, it's like the queen is never late. Everyone else is just early.
Your friend told me to be on the show at 8:20 in the morning. What are you taling about? That's what she told me.
I was not aware of the time that she told you.
Oh, I was just listening to Prez. That's very impressive. It's just like name a game and I'll tell you who's going to win. What is this guy like? This guy's like.
I'm not gonna go through the whole card.
Yeah, is he like?
I might do that with John Murray, but
that's some Matthew McConaughey 2 for the money stuff there. Yeah, sure. Name the game. I'll give you the winner. I wish I could do that.
Trick. Magic.
Yeah,
John Murray,
I'm impressed.
Is that how you feel? You could just go. You just love football that much that you could go through every game.
I definitely don't feel that way. I'd be happy just to pick one winner today. I think NFL's tough. The NFL is very difficult. It's not easy to pick the board in the NFL.
Well, you guys are just too good at it. That's the fun. Okay,
Prez
there are a bunch of games that have had some weird movement, John, but I guess we could start with what you guys have seen over there out in Las Vegas. What sides have you guys been hit hardest?
I would say Cleveland is one. Cleveland's come down a lot. We're sitting at the Bengals -4.5 right now. There's definitely a lot of money on the Browns in that game. I'd have to say Atlanta. So Tampa Bay was a side that they played all summer. They pushed us up as high as Tampa Bay -2.5. But the Buccaneers have some key guys out today. And I think that's why you saw money come in on Atlanta here in the last, let's call it 72 hours. Denver keeps getting bet up. Denver's all the way up to a 9-point favorite, -450 on the money line here at the Westgate. Obviously, that's going to be a very popular survivor play for people that are into that sort of thing.
That's why I'm a little worried about this Denver Broncos team. Kelly in Vegas, I don't know.
No, Kelly, yeah, your friend Kelly, she's all in. So, she'll be real pleasant if the Titans are up in the third quarter today. I'll have to turn off my phone.
Really,
and then I'll say, oh God, I'll say the Giants. The Giants are a team. They were +7. There was a lot of sharp money at +7. We've settled in at 6 right now. We got as low as 5.5.
That seems confusing me. You're getting buy there's a lot of buyback on Washington.
Yeah, there is. The money's come back on Washington, and the public is on Washington. And I'm looking at our numbers right now. It looks like the Giants are going to be one of our biggest needs of the morning, if not our biggest need of the morning. The Giants and Cleveland as well. So there'll be two games we're really rooting for. That's what I missed about the NFL, Ariel, is like you get into work on a Sunday morning and it's like, what are you rooting for? Well, I'm rooting for the worst teams in the league with the worst quarterbacks and the dumbest coaches. Actually, those two teams have pretty good coaches. But in general, usually on a Sunday morning, we're sitting here rooting for the dreck of the NFL. It's tough. It's a tough job. Not everybody can do this job.
No, we give you a lot of credit, John Murray.
Thank you.
The late game tonight, my team, my Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. What do you guys need in that game?
That's an awesome game. So there's been a lot of money bet on that game. Baltimore flipped to the favorite this week when some sharp money came in on the Ravens. We've got Ravens -1. Sharp money on the total as well, under. They bet that game under 53.5, 53. We're down to 51. It's too early to even say what we're going to need in that game. It's essentially a pick'em game, both very popular teams. We're booking the game at -105 both ways. So the volume on the game is going to be really, really, really good. I'm not even sure. If I had to bet, I'd say we'll probably need the Bills, but it's a little bit early to say.
I feel like a lot of people are also on the under in the Jets and Steelers game because nobody has faith in either of these offenses. How much of a need would that, I guess, over be?
Right now, the total, we do need the over. Oh, good call. You know your stuff, man. We do need the over in that game, but What we really need is the New York Jets. So the Steelers are getting a lot of play. We had some buyback on the Jets this morning at +3 -116, which moved us to +3 flat. But there's a lot of money on the Steelers, a lot of parlays with the Steelers. Tough game. That game's a tough watch. I mean, can we be honest? Does anybody really want to watch? Those two quarterbacks are like my age. I don't know.
That's the game we're stuck with here in New York.
No. You guys can't watch the Giants and the Commanders?
No, we get both.
Oh.
One's CBS and one's Fox.
We got to get you like an NFL package or something. You're a sports media person. Okay, because I got the Fire Stick. Well, you can come sit in my office. I got all the games on TV.
You flying me first class to Vegas?
Maybe Kelly will.
Kelly can fly, and then you'll give us a suite.
Yes, I can live with that arrangement. Yes, okay. That is fine.
We'll consider it.
You know what?
Smitty's asking about the Texans and the Rams, by the way.
You know, just as we're sitting here, more sharp money just came in on Washington at -6. So that's a very interesting game because it's been all Giants for a while, and now it's coming back on the Commanders. What was the game? Houston and LA. That's a funny game. That's a good matchup. Two teams that made it to the second round of the playoffs last year, and I don't hear anything about that game. I mean, right now we need Houston for sure. There's a lot of money on the Rams, but there's not a lot of I just don't hear much about that game. More of the afternoon, all the attention's being played to Denver because of the money line parlays. Detroit, Green Bay is probably the best game of the afternoon. And then there's been tons of money on Seattle the last 48 hours. And that Ram game has kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, I did hear some things about Seattle. I saw that line move as well. What's your favorite play of the day? David wants to know.
Oh my God, David, what do you care what my favorite play of the day? I don't know. I do a show with Sam Paniatovich, who's a great mutual friend of ours, and he makes us, gun to my head. We both have to pick a game at the end of the segment.
He actually would put a gun to your head.
Yeah, he would. A real gun. No. He picked the Raiders. I picked the Lions. I like the Lions a little bit in that spot. I think Green Bay is getting a little too much hype coming into the season. Micah Parsons, he is available today. I'm sure he's been working out all offseason, but there's no way he's 100%, right? And he's going to be learning a new defense. Detroit, I went with Detroit, and I used Detroit in my –
I thought that line was a little fishy, JM, because you guys had Green Bay -2.5 all this time. If that game was – if Detroit was as good as they should be with the exact roster they have versus this Green Bay team that's all banged up with their receivers, I'm like, why is this not 1.5 then?
Well, I think we are down to Green Bay 1.5 now because there has been some sharp money on Detroit, but I think there's a couple of variables there with Detroit. You're breaking in 2 new coordinators. Remember, they lost their offensive and defensive coordinator, both got head coaching jobs in the offseason, and their defense was so banged up at the end of last season. But I think people are forgetting just how good Detroit is. They lost that game to Washington because Jared Goff played a terrible game and their entire secondary was hurt. That's why they lost that game. They get their team healthy again. I think Detroit's going to remind people that they're probably the best team in the NFC other than Philadelphia.
Guess we'll find out. John Murray, anything else that stands out to you before I let you go?
I don't know. I mean, we got Monday Night Football tomorrow. There was a lot of sharp money on Minnesota, but we have seen a little bit of playback on the Bears in the last, call it 24 hours. So now it's not as much of a decision. Should be an interesting game. Tough day for the book yesterday on college football. We did not have a good day. So very excited to have the NFL back. Hopefully we get some better results here on Sunday.
Oh, and one more question. Someone asked about Miami.
Oh, please. Miami. Miami's a game there has been a lot of sharp money on. And I did hear Prez. I mean, I know he knows every outcome, but I agreed with what he said about the Dolphin game. I think Indianapolis has one of the worst rosters in the league. And it's hard for me to believe that Daniel Jones is going to be able to go in there and succeed. Miami, until Tua gets hurt, which he will, Miami's usually pretty good. When Tua's in the lineup, Miami's a pretty good team. He's going to get injured, maybe today, but he's going to get injured, and then they're going to be terrible. But until that day comes, the Dolphins are usually pretty good. We'll see. There has been some sharp money on Miami against the Colts. Pretty good game.
He's the best. John Murray, catch him over at the Westgate at the Superbook in Las Vegas. People in the chat said they've met you and you're a really nice guy. I mean, it's good to know I have a nice friend.
Yes. Oh, I love the people. I'm a true man of the people. I love talking.
He is a man of the people. And I keep trying to let you go, and then someone else brings in another question. Titans CT,
please.
Pats Raiders.
Who screens the questions? Like, what if the question was really rude? Would it make it through the air?
No one screens it. We just don't post it. But actually, a lot of the times I get rude questions, and I like to address them.
Wow. People are rude to you, but you're so nice. I think Patriots Raiders would be the game out of the whole board where we saw the most action from wise guys in the summer on the Raiders. So this game at one point was Raiders plus 3.5. We're down to Raiders plus 2.5 even right now. There's been a lot of anti-New England money in the market the last couple of weeks in game one and on the Patriots win total, betting them under. So a lot of money coming on the Raiders. I saw the weather reports this morning. It looks like it's going to be not a great day in Foxborough. We'll see who that favors. A lot of hype around New England with Mike Vrabel as the head coach there. We'll see. I think the Raiders are going to be better this year. They finally got a real coach and a real QB. There is some talent on that team. Brock Bowers, Max Crosby. They got a few players. Raiders, your buddy Sam P is on the Raiders today, Ariel. So there you go.
Oh, okay. I think he just is a Vegas homer. I think he wants to live there.
I think he's anti-New England. That's what I think it is, to be honest with you. I think he's anti-Boston.
He should be. Andrew asked an off-the-cusp question, and I give it a lot of respect. Can you ask about the U.S. Open final and where the money is?
Oh, that's a great question. Hold on a second.
Andrew. I love this.
Yeah, give me a second there. I've been all NFL mode, but I do want to watch that. So right now we've got Yannick Sinner minus 130, Alcaraz plus 110. Most of the money's on Alcaraz. It looks like some sharp players took Alcaraz plus 115. That's why we're at plus 110 right now. That is good stuff. I will definitely be watching. I will be watching that for sure. There's no English Premier League today, Ariel. That's why you have my undivided attention. So I can watch the U.S. Open when that
starts football. The real football, John Murray.
I love it.
Okay, last question, I promise. Sean Michael wants to know, is Ariel your favorite?
My favorite out of what? Like, what pool of people am I pulling from? My favorite person on the planet Earth? She's up there.
Well, I'm not Ellie.
Well, probably one of my favorite of the young ladies in the gambling space. There's a lot of terrific ones, but I think Ariel's very high towards the top of that list.
We'll never put me versus Kelly, but if it's a certain day of the week, I might. Like at the end of today, I might ask John if he likes me more than Kelly.
We'll see. We'll see how today goes.
Oh my God, they're dissing her in the chat. Bad, Kelly. Go.
Oh, come on! Don't be going after Kelly.
Oh, Kelly's had a city order.
Oh, usually when Sammy and I go there, we usually get half. I think it's half medium, half Cajun butter wings. That's usually try the Cajun butter. And then I guess I don't usually get like the hot because I'm usually ordering for a whole bunch of people. So I want it to be a little bit more like something everybody can have. So I usually go half medium, half Cajun butter.
That's the stuff people have to know. John Murray from over at the Westgate Superbook. We love having you on. John Murray, thanks so much. And hopefully you guys don't win today.
Well, thank you for that send off. I'll talk to you next week.
See you next week, Jam. Last call. It is the one and only Teddy Covers. Teddy, hi, happy Sunday.
Congratulations, Ariel. You're working with Bill Simmons now and company. Good for you. That's a great gig.
Thank you. I get to have you guys on Sundays, Bill on Thursdays. It's a great time over here on football season. How are you, Teddy? How was your Saturday?
Not as good as I would have hoped.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
I feel like everyone had a bad Saturday, so we need to have a really good Sunday.
Okay, I'll take a good Sunday.
We love a good Sunday.
Sure.
We've already talked a lot of different sharp sides. We've talked from John Murray and Yanni, and Prez gave us a little bit of action. I know you and Prez are going to be sitting there watching games at 1:00 here on WagerTalk together. Good luck to you. What are you going to be most keyed in on?
So I'm not someone that keys in on any game. All right. This is what I do on NFL Sundays. All right. I sit in my chair over there, which I'm not going to be able to do for the first half of these games while I'm talking to Prez. I've got 3 TVs up over here. Okay, I've got my laptop in my lap. And on the 3 TVs, I got 3 games and then 3 more that I click back and forth to and everything on commercial. So I'm monitoring 6 games and watching everything on my laptop and going through box scores and taking notes. Obviously, I mean, everything that I do on Sundays during the games is in an effort to make better bets either today or next week. So I'm always taking notes, putting notes together for opening line report, something I see, something that catches my eye, something I notice in the box score, something an announcer says. It ends up in my notes, and then I revise those notes later after the games when I'm going through the box scores and the recaps and all of that in prep for the opening line report on Monday morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. here Pacific time. So, I mean, Sunday's a long day. It's an intense day. You know, I usually don't finish my work till close to midnight after the games are done. And I start in earnest going through all the box scores and all that as soon as the Sunday night game starts. So the fact that I'm doing, you know, I think today may be, in all the years I've been in Vegas, today may be the first time I've been on air on Sunday. I never accept gigs on Sunday because Sunday's such a busy day for me. So,
it's hard to pay attention while you're on air to the games. I've done it.
I have no idea how it's going to go.
My
hunch is I'm not going to be much of a good contributor because I'm watching and I'm not talking. So, but we'll see how it plays out. And of course, getting to spend the morning with Prez is always fun.
What do you like today, Teddy?
For the clients? Am I giving out all my client plays right now, or how does this work?
What I mean, you tell me what you would like to give out, and then tease to the client plays.
What's the protocol here? I mean, I got 3 plays for the clients. One of them's a 5%.
Okay.
So you want me to give out everything? You want me to give out one of them? I mean, so I've had the Raiders up as a free play all summer.
Okay.
That's not there anymore. The
Raiders, so you like the Raiders, but not at this number that they're at.
Yeah, and that was a +3, and then the +3s are gone. They've been gone for the last week or so. That's why the only reason to make a bet in the summer
she's a barking dog
when you have a line that's not going to be there come week 1, and that was the case for the Raiders. That's why I put it up as early as I did. As soon as we saw that line wasn't going to hold, we got down on the Raiders plus the field goal and advised the clients to do the same. But.
Sean Michael wants to know if you like Miami.
That's an impossible game for me. I mean, any game where I'm going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, I don't play, and I worry about Miami's offensive line. I mean, I heard John Murray talking about how the Colts have the least talented roster, one of the least talented rosters in the league. One of the things that is one of the strengths of that roster is the defensive line. And that, to me, is maybe a problematic matchup against Miami, who is not strong up front. So if Indy's able to control the line of scrimmage, that could well be a problem for the Dolphins offense. At the same time, when we look at, we've seen the money come from Indy this morning. And I'm not sure if it's anti-Miami money or pro-Indy money, but certainly – from a power rating standpoint, when you have a scenario where the quarterback battle is won by the more experienced but probably less talented QB, that tends to be a positive thing in the short term. All right? You have Danny Dimes behind center. No, Danny Dimes is not going to win you a Super Bowl, but he's also not going to screw up the game as much as Anthony Richardson might. So that could be a positive for Indy. Slightest of leans to the under in that game, but I can't play an under knowing what Miami wants to do. Miami wants to hit big plays, and I worry about Indy's secondary. I worry about Miami's secondary. I worry about both secondaries, or really. So if you have secondaries you don't trust, and at least one of the two teams wants to take shots, it's not an under that I'm super excited about. And again, it's week 1. All right. I made 3 bets today. All right. It's a long season. We're not going to be involved in every game. We're not going to be involved in the majority of games. Tap the brakes, be patient, wait for good opportunity. Week 2, week 3, I love the NFL. Week 1, I mean, look at how little these lines are moving right now. All right. On your standard NFL Sunday, the screen's going to be painted black, because these games have been bet for the last 5 months. They're not being painted black the same way.
People in the chat want to know what your thoughts are on Bengals and Browns.
So I put up a free play video, and you can look on my homepage, www.buzz.com/TC, on this game, making a case for Cincinnati minus the points. And that's how I can play it. All right. Wise guys are already betting Bengals. I'm seeing 4.5s out there now at the leading indicator books. Already bet the Browns and are continuing to bet the Browns. In my opinion, week 1, I'm not trying to be cute. I don't want my money on the worst teams. I don't want my money on the very bad teams. And I think Cleveland is one of the worst teams. And the fact that it's week 1, people may have forgotten how bad. And look, Joe Flacco's a name we all know. All right. Flacco's been around the league. He's won a Super Bowl. He had a remarkable run with Cleveland a few years back. But if you're grading out NFL quarterbacks, if he's not, there aren't many quarterbacks that I have ranked below Joe Flacco going into the season. Flacco is ancient. The offensive line is dicey. And all he's done, the limited success he had the one year, he just chucks it up there and lets his receivers make plays. And that'll work against bad defenses. And there's a thought process out there that since he has a bad defense, and certainly they did last year, and in the preseason, the defense looked downright ugly. That said, if you read any of the quotes in preseason, Al Golden was talking about, hey, new coordinator, by the way, Notre Dame's DC last year is now in the NFL for Cincinnati. And he said, we're not showing anything. Everything's base coverage. We're going very vanilla in August. So there'll be some wrinkles that aren't on film yet that I'm not sure that Cleveland has seen yet. And Cleveland's just a bad team since the year passed. And there's urgency for Cincinnati. They've had all of these bad starts. You look at their schedule this year. If they get off to an 0-2 start, they're in trouble. So it's Bengals or pass for me. I don't want the Browns.
And then someone else asked about the Giants and Commanders game.
Good game, huh? Interesting game. Sure. So there's a fair bit of anti-Washington sentiment in the betting markets. I agree with some of that sentiment. Washington last year, much of their success was predicated by the fact that if you look at the quarterbacks they played over the back half of the season, or as John Murray was talking about, the Lions defense didn't have anybody left in the playoffs. Some of the run that Washington had last year was based on the flaws and weaknesses of their opponents. They made a bunch of win now moves this offseason, bringing in veterans. They're not bringing in young guys. They're bringing in, hey, let's win right now. And they signed McLaurin, which was huge. They had to do it, and they paid him, and that's immediately made them better than they were. The Giants are a team that had a really flashy preseason. They scored 30-plus in every game. They had a great quarterback rotation. Russell Wilson looked okay. Jackson Dart looked okay. I supposedly they have a group of plays, a package designed for Jackson Dart today, specifically for the rookie QB. So he might get a series or two. That's very possible for the G-men. The G-men look strong up front defensively. That's a positive sign. And when you talk about a base value equation of teams that were bottom feeders last year, there's a decent chance the Giants won't be quite as bad this year. It legitimately is. So in that sense, I would lean towards the G-men, but the markets have leaned towards the G-men all summer, and at 6, it's not a game where I want to see the Giants hang tough and play a good game before I bet them to do it. I'm not putting them in the same category as Cleveland of a team that I have to fade, or I want no part of. I think the Giants are better than the Browns, but how much better? We'll find out today.
The Seahawks-Niners game is really interesting. I saw that line go from 2.5 to 1.5 or 3.5 to 2. Like, I've just seen that line bounce around a bunch. I've heard from John Murray now that they're getting a bunch of money on the Seahawks. I feel like people have been high on the Niners because of the easy schedule, but they've got some injuries. What do you think between the Niners and the Seahawks?
So it's an interesting scenario for San Fran, all right? Because there's a whole thought process out there that the Niners are going to be good this year because their schedule is weak. And certainly Shanahan, off a bad season, has never had 2 bad seasons in a row. He's bounced back strong. They got younger and leaner in the offseason. A lot of veterans, a lot of veteran leaders on that team being jettisoned in the offseason. Brock Purdy had to get paid. And once your quarterback gets paid, it's a whole different salary cap structure. So, you see teams like Cincinnati like San Francisco that are top heavy, where, you know, the key guys are getting paid. And then as you go down the roster, if they get injured, the depth isn't necessarily there. But I got a lot of concerns about the 49ers. I don't like their receiving core right now. The receiving core is Ricky Pearsall and pray for rain. I mean, it really is not as limited. I know they got an aging George Kittle, but it's not a receiving core that's loaded with playmaking weapons right now. I worry about the defense. They have a stud on each level and a bunch of question marks. A lot of turnover on that defense. Everyone's like, oh, Robert Saleh's there. They'll be fine. You know, oh, they have an easy schedule. They'll be fine. From a week-by-week standpoint, maybe they will be. Week 1 at Seattle, I think they're in for a battle. If I'm playing that game, it would be the Seahawks or a pass. I want no part of San Francisco as road chalk week 1. And again, this is a line. San Fran was 2.5, 1.5, 2.5 all summer when we thought they were going to be healthy. And when you watch that team in August, they weren't bet on. They flat out were.
Teddy Covers, as always, thank you for coming on here. I know that you got a show with Kelly in Vegas tomorrow around 11:45 a.m. Eastern time.
11 a.m. every single Monday during football season, Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Each and every week, Kelly and I break down the entire NFL slate for the coming week, called the NFL Opening Line Report. It's the best show on WagerTalk. Not even close, by far. So if you've never watched it, be sure to tune in tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. You can always watch the replay on YouTube. Every game on the board, and we plow through a ton of info. So it's not a pick show. It's an info show. If you want the info, check it out. I personally, again, I'm confident. It's the best show on WagerTalk. Not close.
Not biased at all. Teddy Covers, check him out there tomorrow. And also 1 p.m. with him and Prez today, watching games on End Zone Live here on WagerTalk. And we are going to wrap up the show now. Teddy, thank you so much. Teddy is also always giving out client plays, so make sure to check out his 5% play, which he says he has posted over there. But for me, I guess I'll tell you one more play that I like out of the props. Tampa's quarterback, Baker Mayfield, over 13.5 rushing yards. He's gone over this in 7 of 8 road games last year against teams that were bottom 10 against quarterbacks, well, mobile quarterbacks, or bottom 10 in rushing yards allowed to quarterbacks, so if we want to phrase it. He went over in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 7 games. Atlanta allowed the 3rd most rushing yards per game to quarterbacks last year at 29 yards a game. 65% of QBs went over their rushing yards prop against the Falcons. The Falcons were just awful at getting to the quarterback, 30th in pressure rate and 31st in sacks. So check out Baker Mayfield over 13.5 rushing yards today. Thank you, everybody, for joining here on Last Call. Thank you to Yanni the Greek, to Prez, to John Murray, and to Teddy Covers. I'm the prop queen, Ariel Epstein, Louie in the back. Thanks for guiding the show. We will see you guys next Sunday here on WagerTalk's Last Call.